constitutional adjustment, you would have been pissed off too. You would have been mad if you would have been sitting in jail for a crime that you didn't commit. Because guess what? This ain't my first time. This ain't my first time spending in jail for a crime that I didn't commit. You know, and I don't expect you to understand that because you're a paper pusher.
No parole for tape.
We are about to watch the parole hearing of a professional victim. I mean, one of the things that he states in this parole hearing is that after he stole a Jeep, he had a mask, he had a weapon, and then he got rammed by the police car and then jumped off a bridge. He actually claims that the police were victimizing him, and he sued them. Just one of the many different lawsuits that this man has covered. Now, you might remember this hearing. I'm going through hearings that I think the YouTube algorithm wasn't that friendly to and giving it another shot. I'll also unpack it with some additional details that I didn't provide before. With that, let's jump in.
My name is Luis Vicente. My MA number is 321453.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Vicente. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Mr. Luis Vicente, inmate number 321453, who is serving a total effective sentence of between 10 years, execution suspended after 5 years, 6 months, concurrent, followed by 5 years probation, and this for the charges of assault on public safety officer, EMT, transit, health, a violation of probation with the underlying charge being conspiracy to commit larceny 2nd degree, and then lastly, 3 counts assault 3rd degree. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of August 14th, 2023. This is at 85% eligibility. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability component for this offender, which has been reviewed and shows that the offender has completed voices and anger management. The anger management was completed more recently as of February 16th, 2024. And this is Mr. Vicente remains on the Department of Correction waiting list for education and 5 or 7 day job assignment. And that's according to the RT3 inquiry. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the RT falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. All right, Mr. Vicente, this is now your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
No, I was going to consider waiving my parole before I came up here because my DOC disciplinary record is not an example to be followed. But I had a difficult time dealing with this incarceration. You know, I lost my mother at the beginning of this sentence. And I know some might not want to hear this, but when I was sentenced, I pled guilty to charges that I felt like I had no other alternative but to plead guilty because the state wasn't playing fair with me. So I figured I'd plead out to the sentence, but I'd take them up in civil court. I took 5.5 years. It was better than going to court and not having the necessary tools that I needed to be able to prove that I was innocent. The officers in my case responded to a robbery carjacking. There was no robbery. There was no carjacking. I was operating a vehicle that was a similar make and model. My truck was gold. The truck that they were looking for was chrome gray. So I had the officers crash into me. I was so nervous though that I didn't know what to do. So I took them on a chase. I know we're not here to talk about that, but I just want to express this to you because maybe it'll allow you an opportunity to look in and see how I reacted to my incarceration. So I took the 5.5 years and I filed a civil lawsuit against these officers. And I sued these officers for the black box in their police vehicles to prove that it wasn't me that crashed into them. It was them that crashed into me. I don't know if you can see this right here, but I was successful in suing these officers for accusing me of crashing into them. I did 5.5 years of my life that I could never get back. I had a lot of difficulties adjusting to being in here, but as I sat in here, I figured I'd rather do something more worth it than my time than just run around and get in trouble. I started developing blogs online for prison rehabilitation, such as individuals as myself who spent a lot of time in level 4 facilities, to be able to be involved in something that's called a community reintegration program, so that individuals who spent a lot of time in level 4 facilities can gradually be released and be reintroduced to society, not just be released from a level 4 facility and just be thrown out into the community without no rehabilitative services. So and I wrote this up, I've shared it with wardens. No, the only reason why I was able to make it to this hearing was because I reached out to certain individuals, like my unit manager, Councilor Landolina. He was one of my biggest advocates. He moved to get me off high security status, which I just signed that paper this morning. He got me off high security status just so I could be able to, be able to apply for these type of community reintegration programs, such as halfway house, things like that. I picked up an assault on DOC since I was incarcerated, mainly because I don't like to see abuse. I confront abuse when I see it. And, this officer was a little bit more aggressive than me. And I know if you look at my sentence in charge, my release date wasn't, at all affected by the alleged assault on DOC. And we know when you assault a Department of Corrections officer, you automatically get more time. They don't run it concurrent. So that officer is no longer employed by the Department of Corrections. I was physically assaulted. I just figured I cut my losses and I plead guilty to the charge because it wasn't going to affect my time. And he dealt with whatever he had to deal with because he's no longer employed. So since I've been incarcerated, I also had assistance from the warden, the deputy warden, the commissioner. I'm currently right now working with a company called the Davidson Place. I've manufactured patents such as a universal adapter with interchangeable plugs, a flat adapter that mounts to the back of your phone. You hit the button on it and it automatically retracts the 2 prongs so you can plug your phone directly into the wall. The reason why I bring this up is because these are the things that I engaged in that helped me to be able to come before you guys and plead my case, because the warden had to go out his way to authorize me to be able to have a private communications between these individuals, because all phone calls are recorded. So when these individuals started seeing the changes that I was making and the progress that I was making, it made them become more aware of what I was really trying to do, you understand? And they assisted me in being able to make those changes.
Is that it, Mr. Vincente?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that with us. Basically, what we've done on the way in here is read about the past, this incarceration. Based upon that, we have some questions for you. Then we're gonna discuss your case and we're going to give you a decision on parole, okay?
Yes.
And I appreciate what you shared with us. Just know in 14 weeks, it's end of sentence, right?
Yeah.
Right. Also, DOC has you as pending when it comes to halfway house.
Yes.
So the thing is you got the warden there and deputy wardens that know you and such. They could work on seeing that happen. That doesn't come through us. right? You know, for me, it's like, I have to take at face value what's in front of me, right? And
Absolutely.
I heard what you said about the assault. You know, there's 16 tickets here. Some are for fighting. I know that it's not an easy place to be. You know, somebody gets in your face, or you have a beef with somebody, sometimes it doesn't go the right way, you know? You know, whether or not they're the aggressor or you're the aggressor, whatever, it's, you know, that's, it happens, you get tickets, right? And I appreciate the explanation on the, you know, the offense itself, you know? There is, you know, when I look at your history, you know, it's not, you've had trouble, right? 18 times since 2004, right? And, I hear you trying to do the right things. You know, I hear you trying to put your best foot forward, you know, and that kind of thing. I'm not here to judge you, right? Or to say that you haven't made some progress, but I do have to take a look at what's in front of me, right? And the biggest thing that you said was tickets, you know. However, if we look at tickets, right, as well, you haven't had a ticket since last June, right?
Yes.
So is that a little bit of different thinking or what?
That's definitely the only reason why I got that ticket was, you know, I came across somebody who killed my nephew.
Yeah.
You know, and he came after me. You know, I would have did what anybody else would have did in that position.
I can respect that. And I really wasn't talking about the ticket. I was talking about.
The ticket. Yeah.
I wasn't talking about the ticket. I was talking about since last June.
Oh yeah, because you know, I got moved into a unit where, you know, I've been basically mentored by the unit manager. He used to be a parole coordinator. So, you know, he just been helping me deal with things a little differently. You know, I know him for a long time. We, you know, we speak, you know, it's different when you have somebody around you, you know, to be able to, you know, guide you, give you guidance, you know?
Very different.
Yeah, so.
I'm sorry about your mom and how that applied here, right? In this incarceration. Do you have anybody else out there that's like this unit manager?
Yeah, my brother. He has an import-export company. You know, when I got out of here, you know, my plan was, you know, the warden who with this, he no longer resides here. He got moved to a different job. The warden that we got right now, he's a little too hard, you know? Like, he's against anything that helps inmates. Like, so, you know, but I don't allow that to get in my way because I got a plan already. And I got support when I get out of here. But I really wanted to get out of here and be able to do things my own because, you know, I spent my whole life in jail. You know, this ain't my first time. You know, I'm not a bad guy. I'm stupid because I spent my whole life in jail. And every time I have an encounter with police, I always take off running. It just has to do with my mental health. I deal with mental health issues. I don't trust authority figures. You know, even if I'm not doing nothing, it's just, I don't know. It's just, hopefully sometime down the road, I could be able to receive some type of treatment for it. You know?
So there's one thing for sure, and that's that, you know, programs like that are offered through probation.
Yeah,
You know, and it's like, it's not you don't get extra points for being a man and going through this life without any help.
yeah,
You don't get any extra points for that, right? The strongest of men got people that they talk to, you know, when they're going through stuff,
yeah.
you know? Because other than that, how does it come out? It comes out physically. And that's not what you want to do, right?
That's a
You've
fact.
been down for 5 now, and you know, you're 36 years old.
I had to live
I
like
know
it.
you want to stop. Right?
I got a brother, he got an import-export company. You know,
Yeah.
I plan on moving out of the state. Like, right now, I got the Davidson company. I designed a retractable cell phone chain.
Yeah.
It's durable, you know, it mounts to the back of your phone.
So,
You know, I made sure that since I've been sitting here, that I did something productive with my time other than just sit around, play cards, work out, do things like that. I need to invest in something that's gonna help me make progress in the future. You understand? I can't repeat this again. I'm 36 years old. I have no kids. I have no history. Right now, you're gonna open a photo album or open your phone and be able to see where you came through in life, how you looked at this age. I don't have that. I don't have a history. I'm trying to create a history right now.
so you understand where we are though, right?
Yes.
So it's not that we wish you ill will at all. We wish you the best, right? We want you to succeed. We want you to use what's there and help yourself move on, you know? And
There hasn't been any resources. I haven't been supplied with any resources. Like right now, I wrote a letter to the warden. Here's the letter. I said, I am writing to express my desires for rehabilitative services. I sued the Department of Corrections for rehabilitative services. And I'm right now in court at the end of my sentence, arguing with the Commissioner of Corrections of why I have not been supplied with rehabilitative services. I said, I'm expressing my desires for rehabilitative services that will enable me to have a successful reentry back into society. As an inmate, I understand that the importance of rehabilitative services such as education, job training, and I believe that access to these resources will help me to become a productive member of society. I respectfully request that you consider providing me with access to educational programs such as college courses, vocational training, and other job-related programs that will enable me to develop the skills that can be used in the workforce. Additionally, I would like to participate in any and all counseling therapy services such as services that are available to help me, that will help me address any personal behavioral issues or any preventative issues that I have that I can deal with. Furthermore, I would like to request that my high security restrictions be removed so that I can be able to participate in halfway house programming. You understand? I know what it is, you know, to spend your whole time incarcerated and not be able to, and the state not provide you not one program. You know, this catch and release thing that Connecticut has, that Connecticut does, surrounding states have long been its practice. Catch and release. You catch an individual, you make them max out, and then you release them. I spent time on high security for something that happened on a separate incarceration. It had nothing to do with this incarceration.
Well, thank you for answering my questions.
Yep.
Either of you have any questions?
Let's see. You covered the DRs, and he shared his situation. Sorry about your mother, about the loss of your mother. But the only thing I want to add to that, you know what, Mr. Vicente, when you're released, you're going to run into many stressful kind of situations, and they can't be resolved by, lashing out in some way. You need to figure out a skill for you, a way to deal with that, so that you don't find yourself in this kind of situation. I mean, you already shared that you find yourself in a stress when you're confronted by authority, right? So you want to try to figure out how you deal with that. And that's something that I think you need to kind of strongly work on.
Yeah.
All right, to try to keep out of some of these situations. Because although it's 16 current tickets, it's 85 total tickets in all of your time. And that's a lot of something going on that you're not dealing with. We had someone earlier on and that spent many years and had no tickets. So somehow you got to figure out where that place is for you. You know what I mean? So if whatever happens today, you get released, you don't get released. You're right. You got to find a way to find that program or those programs that help you develop those skills so you can stay out of this.
Yeah, I've never, if you look at my history, all these are environmental factors. I've never received an assault on anybody out in the community. I don't have a violent history out in the public. All this is all jail related. If you deal with mental health issues, you're not being provided with the proper mental health treatment and therapeutic, the proper mental health treatments, you're gonna have issues in here.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, people don't take that into consideration.
That's why I'm telling you, you need to find that program for you. Whether it's in there or whether when you get out, it's outside. You got to find it. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah.
And good luck to you, Mr. Vicente. I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Board Member Rodriguez. So, Mr. Vicente is headed in a positive direction, I think. He has net tickets and such here. We're dealing with between now and June, which is his EOS to probation, not inspection parole, right?
5 years.
But, based upon, there's an extensive criminal history there. He admitted himself, and it's just what we saw on the way in. It's a good deal of skills, So based upon his criminal history, to go out in June.
Yeah, and then hopefully we'll have a better setup when he's released. He did say something that, he wanted to do it on his own, and it's difficult to do things on our own sometimes. We need help from loved ones, family. He talked about the warden, he talked about that. So those are good, positive people to reach out for to help them with that. And then
He talked about the mentor in his housing now.
Right.
And he said his brother's like that.
Right.
So hopefully that connection is made and where he can have this be successful.
Well, I hear the recommendation.
So
we have
it's
EOS.
criminal history and constitutional.
EOS.
I mean, we're dealing with
Months.
For a longer period of time, maybe it would be something different, but it's a matter of 3 months. And probation, and plus, he's still pending when it comes to
Release on how we
release.
Right,
So
you stated that.
the POC would probably work with probation, so he lands in a decent place, right?
Correct.
So in regard to Luis Vicente, number 321-453, to deny parole for criminal history and constitutional adjustment. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Vicente, we weren't able to give you parole tonight. We heard everything you said. We admire where you are trying to go. And we really hope that you continue to follow through on that, right?
Hey, if, you know, my thing is, if I got the individuals who are looking down on me with a microscope on a daily basis, if I got the individuals who are looking down on me with a microscope on a daily basis, going above and beyond, emailing their superiors in order to get me off of these programs, these high security statuses and all that. You know, when you look at a paper trail, this is DOC, the defense mechanism. Their justification for what they do, you know?
And what we're saying is that we heard you. We heard what you said, and we heard that you're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know?
What good is it if I'm headed in the right direction? If the direction I was headed in was for a sole purpose, only thing you did was show me that it didn't matter whether I sat in here for a crime I didn't commit or not. You guys will make me go day for day all the way to the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't want to argue with you, but that's not.
Nah, I don't want to argue with you neither. I just wanted to point that out to you because I did day for day for a crime that I didn't commit. And I'm actually suing these officers. It don't matter if I had a poor institutional adjustment. You would have been pissed off too. You would have been mad if you would have been sitting in jail for a crime that you didn't commit. Because guess what? This ain't my first time. This ain't my first time spending in jail for a crime that I didn't commit. You know, and I don't expect you to understand that because you're a paper pusher.
No, not really.
All right, so Mr. Vicente, best of luck to you. This concludes the
Man,
hearing for
fuck you,
Mr. Luis
people.
Vicente, inmate number
Y'all people ain't do shit
321453.
for me.
This concludes the hearing.
This how I
for the
live my life.
UCI
This how I live
facility.
my
It's
life,
now
getting fucked
12:14
over.
PM.
Be nice to y'all guys. My criminal history. Of course I'm in jail. I got a criminal history. The ignorance that
And they muted him. I mean, you know, there's just something in the Connecticut water. But this guy, he's a professional victim. It's absolutely absurd. He's suing them for the black box because the police car hit him. So he's the victim. Let's just wait till we go over the report of what actually happened here. And this guy, he's lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. He sued the police officers in this arrest. He sues the DOC left and right. I'll go over 4 of the different lawsuits. Can you imagine the drain on society that he's literally and they're going through the process. They're going through the appeal process, and it's saying, like, you know, can you even imagine? He actually believes that when he stole this, or let's go over the details so I don't misspeak. I don't need no lawsuit coming my way, right? So here he is the day of his arrest. Remember, he's the victim here in 2018. And Waterbury's city man, and I'll do thank you, sir, for providing this info. With a lengthy rap sheet, led police on a car chase, rammed their cruiser with the stolen SUV, and fell about 35 feet onto Interstate 84 while being chased by officers on foot early Monday morning. Now, he claims in his lawsuit that he was pushed. Luis has a lengthy criminal record that dates back to at least 2011. The reason I say 2011 is that in Connecticut, they only show us records from the past 10 years. Sometimes we find news reports of it, but you can't pull it up in their records for whatever ridiculous reason. I guess you got to put the perpetrator first, right? Police say that Vincent was behind the wheel of a stolen Jeep that was spotted speeding and swerving in Hawkins Street just after midnight. An officer swerved his cruiser to avoid a head-on collision with the Jeep, but it crashed into the front bumper of the police car, then kept driving, leaving that police car behind. Police spotted the Jeep again on Meadow Street. Even if the police car hit him, you can't see that. Police are trained to do that. It's so ridiculous. Vincent made it about a mile to exit 23 when the Jeep spun out of control near Hamilton Avenue Bridge, which spans the highway. When police tried to box in the front of the Jeep, they say that he hit the gas, ramming the cruiser head on. The officers were not injured in that collision. He's lucky he wasn't hit with more charges. Well, maybe he was. He's lucky that he didn't have to serve more time for that. We covered a parole hearing in Louisiana where the guy was locked up for 5 life sentences for 5 counts of attempted homicide. And this one pissed me off because it was just ridiculous. When he did a sting operation narcotics deal, and he had an SUV, and 5 street clothes police officers ran at him when he's doing this control sale with guns drawn. He jumped in the car and drove. They gave him 5 counts of attempted homicide for that, which is absurd. First of all, if you're doing a controlled buy, you could make sure that he doesn't have access to the car keys or he's not close to his vehicle. Second, he's going in panic mode. He might even think it's a drug deal, like a deal gone bad, not cops. I mean, there's so many, and they gave him 5 life sentences. Anyways, I digress. I wish I could remember the name of that hearing, though. I should replay it for you guys. It was a good one. Vincent was taken to St. Mary Hospital for treatment of a leg injury. Police also detained the 35-year-old passenger, who told police she was screaming for Vincent to stop while he tried to outrun the officers in the stolen SUV. The Jeep's owner told police that the SUV that he left his SUV running and unlocked when he was inside the store at about 11:45 p.m. on Sunday. The vehicle's owner watched as the man wearing a ski mask and armed with a gun climbed into the driver's seat and took off. Inside the crashed Jeep, police found a ski mask and a bullet in the ashtray, but did not find the firearm. I wonder if he took the bullet out of the chamber and tossed the gun outside for whatever reason. I don't know. Vincent, 31, was charged with 4 counts of attempted assault on police officers, engaging officers in pursuit, reckless driving, 3rd-degree larceny, criminal trover, interfering in driving with suspended license. But he's the victim, remember? Oh, here's one of the lawsuits. So this is the lawsuit. He actually sued the police department for this specific crime. On December 9, 2018, a plaintiff was operating a vehicle that crashed into a Waterbury Police Department vehicle. Plaintiff alleges that the defendant drew his firearm and pointed it directly at him after he exited the vehicle. The plaintiff ran and climbed the wall of the highway overpass barrier. It is alleged that he raised his hands to surrender and that the defendant pushed him off the barrier wall. I don't believe that for a second. As a result of his fall, the plaintiff fractured his ankle and was taken to St. Mary Hospital by the ambulance. Surgery on his ankle was performed, and later plaintiff now takes So he actually sues. He doesn't win. So whatever he's talking about winning, he's lying. I don't know what he was showing them. Maybe he wants some continuance on an appeal. Here's another appeal. This is another lawsuit. On January 24, 2017, the plaintiff was a pretrial detainee confined to the Walker Building, McDougal Correction. The plaintiff was confined in cell B11. The plaintiff, along with 2 other inmates, covered a cell door to protest the manner in which the administrative segregation program is administered at Walker. The inmates were persuaded to remove the covering. All 3 inmates were issued disciplinary reports for interfering with safety and security. The plaintiff pled guilty to the charge. After receiving disciplinary reports, the 3 inmates again covered the cell correctional. And then basically it goes how I think they sprayed him with so let's see, attempted to persuade the plaintiff to remove the covering, the window, and comply with the order. The handcuffs were removed from the cell. Their verbal intervention lasted approximately 1 hour. The verbal intervention was unsuccessful. When the plaintiff did not comply with the final order to be handcuffed and exit the cell, a chemical agent was deployed. So he sued for that. He's really just the professional victim here. And then here is another lawsuit again. Thank you, Sir Richard. Which one was this for? Plaintiff is currently incarcerated in correctional center. He filed a complaint. The Department of Correction, Health Service Administration. Oh, this one was weird. He filed a complaint against their hospital, and he was demanding that they tell him the first and last name of a nurse that he had grievance against. Really weird, scary, right? And then here's another one. Initial review order. I don't know. I think you guys get this one's actually 2022. Rather than setting forth the statement describing the incident underlining all 5 of his claims in the reaction, plaintiff has included separate fact sheets. So here he's suing. This is a recent one, 2022. He's suing something. This one he's suing because he wanted them to change his cells. So this incident underlining the action occurred April 22nd. Prior to the first week, the plaintiff and his cellie engaged in repeated verbal disagreements that resulted in his cellie threatening the plaintiff with physical violence. Can you imagine having to share a cellie with this nut job? During the first week in April, Varela threatened to kill a plaintiff. Plaintiff told Captain Wiggins about the threat at the prior conflicts and asked to be moved to another cell, but Captain Wiggins denied, and he sued the captain for that, basically. So as you can see, we have a professional victim. We should all feel sorry for him. The parole board just a bunch of paper pushers, me. These folks exist, and this is part of why we show the parole hearing. For those of you who want to jump up and say, wow, you know, this, he literally takes the police on a police chase after he steals a car with the gun and a face mask, rams into a police cruiser, jumps off the bridge and attempts to escape. Then, in his mind, believes that the police hit him and pushed him off the bridge, and then sues them. What do you think? And with that, I'll let you go.
This ain't my first time spending in jail for a crime that I didn't commit. You know, and I don't expect you to understand that because you're a paper pusher.
No, not really.
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
All right.